Hello, I'm Jason Lai, and we're going to be extracting the essential oils from this scented geranium today. Geranium oil is one of my favorite essential oils because it can actually be used as a mosquito repellent. If you put a little bit in an oil burner, it'll help clear the mosquitoes out of your yard. So, first thing we need to do is to chop it up, and we're going to put it into this 2-litre round bottom flask. I like to weigh everything just to see what kind of a yield we get here. You can really pack it into the flask too because it really cooks down with the steam. We're going to do steam distillation, and so what we'll end up with at the end is just a mush which can go on the compost heap. So we've got about 400 grams of plant material here, and I'm putting all of the green parts in the flask. So this is a 2-litre round bottom flask. I've got this from eBay, and what you see here is a heating mantle which it fits in quite nicely, again also from eBay. So my scales tell me that there's 330 grams of geranium in here now, and just the leaves and the green parts, and I'm just poking it to get it down. We're going to add boiling water so that it about halfway fills this vessel, and then we'll set up the rest of the system. So we're just filling the sink up with cold water. I'll explain why in a moment. So here's the heating mantle. Here's our 2-litre round bottom flask, to which I've connected a separatory funnel, and it's a separatory funnel with a bypass, a pressure equalizing bypass. The steam, the vapors, and the essential oils are going to come up here. They're going to condense in this condenser up here, and I'll show you this is why I need the sink full of cold water, and then it's going to drip down in here, and the oil will separate out. We'll actually be able to put the water back into the flask to reflux it. What I did want to show you is right here. As you can see, the vapors, the plant matter vapors, and the steam are going to have to go up here and up through this tube. So it's really important that we don't get this blocked. It's not a huge deal because these are really, these would just pop out to relieve the pressure. And here's another tip. I like to wet the glass joints as I put them together. That helps show that they're sealed. A little fountain pump in the end here, which I'm going to pump through and use to cool the condenser. Here goes the hot water. And already you'll see these leaves start to relax a little bit. Ooh. Already smells good. Ice. Plug in the heater. Plug in the pump. And there it goes. So it's starting to boil here, and you can see that the geranium is going from a bright green to a brownish kind of color as it gets as it breaks down and releases its essential oils, and other materials inside the leaves break down too. Once again, ensure that there is nothing blocking this this aperture here. And here's the condensate. It's starting to get into the bypass there, and it's got to go all the way up there to the condenser at the top. There it goes. And we should start to see our first drops condensing in the condenser and running into the collection vessel, the separatory funnel. So there's our oil and water condensing in the condenser, and if we just move down, you see it dripping down into the separatory funnel. Now if you look carefully in the separatory funnel, you'll see the start of an oil phase, right, ouch, it's hot, and you'll see some little droplets of oil in there. Probably just about done, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the heater, but leave the pump going so that can start to cool down. It's been running about 10-15 minutes, I suppose, and this is all nice and brown in here, so I'm assuming that we've gotten the best part of what we're going to get today. Well, it's somewhat cooled down now, and I think you can clearly see an oil layer here. Well, it's still hot. We've got a bit of an emulsion still in here, so we'll see what it's like when it's fully cooled down. So as it slowly cools, it's becoming more and more turbid. So I think we've made a hydrosol, which is now slowly starting to, the oil is slowly starting to come out of a microemulsion or even a solution. Again, you can start to see a oil phase separating out at the meniscus, which is encouraging. So I think I'm just going to leave it overnight and we'll see what happens in the morning. So clean up. Okay, here's our cooked geranium, and what I've found is that one way to get the leaves out here is to put a bottle brush in, twist it a little bit, and kind of that grabs hold of them, and you can just pull them out like that. So, got a big old knot of them there. So we have a hydrosol. So basically it's like a suspension of geranium oil. It really does smell wonderfully strong with geraniums. How to actually do something with this? We've got a few options. One of them is we could put a layer of mineral oil in here and allow the geranium oil to dissolve in it and essentially extract it. Oh, come here, kitty cat. Oh dear, oh dear. Another one would be adding an alcohol, and that would preserve this, stop bacteria from growing in there, and should help it go into solution. So to test it out, I poured a little bit out of the bottom through this valve here and added a teaspoonful of alcohol, and sure enough we get a clear liquid. I think that's what I'm going to do with this. There you go. We have geranium oil in an alcohol water solution. Ta-da! So there you have it. I think that in retrospect I was probably a little bit impatient, and I think if given the time to do it again, I think I would have drained off the hydrosol through this tap here. And actually separated out the few droplets of pure geranium oil that were in there and kept, put those to one side. However, I did choose to solubilize the lot, and here it is. This smells wonderfully like geraniums, which frankly always remind me of my grandmothers. Both my grandmothers like geraniums. And I think another thing would be good in the future is a better container for the plant material, so it doesn't have to be poked in and out of those little holes. So, but there you have it. That's the basic principle of steam distillation applied to extraction of essential oils from plants. So, hope that you enjoyed it. I had fun making the video. Thank you. I'm Jason Lai.